That is the best cartoon I've ever seen. Scooby-Doo's got nothing on us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are in this great big world. Maybe you're like me, you're hanging out on the static planet and you're just tuning in right now, having a cold shower, doing whatever it is you like. My name, of course, is Michael John of Michael John Paranormal Ghost Stories, and I'm your co-ghost host, along with the guy next to me there, the man of the hour. Look this way. I can't do it. God, the man of the hour, the man of the power, too sweet to be sour, folks. His name, of course, is Dale High Spirits Quigley. Together, we are the voice of the paranormal, the voice for the paranormal. We are, underline that, Windsor, Ontario's own, the paranormal voice. We are right across the water from, we are a border town, right across the water from Detroit, Michigan. Proud to say, Windsor born, Windsor proud, of course. We got a lot of things going on. We got a hell of a guest coming up. Even more elusive than Bigfoot himself is Bigfoot Michigan Rob, but we'll get to him in a minute. Dale, we got a lot of stuff going on our own plate right here, right now. Get out of the gate, get on the horse, tell the TPV Nation what the hell we're doing, man. Oh my God, we're so busy.
Oh, buddy. Well, first of all, it's good to see you, my friend. It's always good to be here. It's good to be here with the TPV fans. We got a lot of people. The comments are already blowing up. We have Miss Brandy on board. We have Shane Michael Chris is here. Chris. We have Chris Valentino.
Chrissy.
Who else do we got? Oh, we have, it looks like Lily Pond is here, and probably Krista from Blondes and Booze. So, yeah, we have the whole gang here. We have BMR's fan club in the house. Whoa, we love these guys. But also at the same time, so coming up not this week, but next Sunday, 1 week from this Sunday, we are going to be at a brand new event right here in our hometown of Windsor, Ontario. We are going to be at the Holistics Wellness and Healing event. That's going to be taking place July 23rd, right here in our hometown of Windsor. I can't wait. We can't wait to be there because you know what? We love to show the support of our local community, and this is going to be a great event, people. So you watch our Facebook page, watch our YouTube page. We're going to be talking all about that. And of course, we are it's coming up fast, buddy. This WrestleMania of Paracons, the Maya Paracon is coming up, folks. That's right. August 24th to the 26th.
Yeah.
Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. We can't wait to get back there. We miss everybody. We can't wait to see everybody out there. But you know what? We have one hell of a show right now. I've been waiting to talk to this guy. Fascinated. I love his YouTube shows. Michael John, let's talk about this guy. He is absolutely amazing.
What's there to say, or what can't you say about Bigfoot Michigan Rob? Like I said earlier, he's even more elusive than Bigfoot himself. We tried to have him on last time. He had some internet issues. Fortunately, we were able to get a hold of him again and rebook him, and that wasn't easy either. And man, what isn't he doing? I mean, he's got a book that's coming out very, very soon, and we'll talk about that, of course, in this interview. Bigfoot Michigan Rob is the name of his YouTube channel. He's got a couple shows on there. He's got Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob, as well as Beyond BMR. There's a couple other features on his YouTube channel, Bigfoot Michigan Rob YouTube channel. We'll have Rob talk about directly himself. Gives us some questions to ask, and of course, like we always ask the TPV Nation out there that's watching live right now, even later on, please, at the side there, the chat box on the side, please ask your questions. If you don't have questions, that's okay. Say hello to us. tell us your name, because we can't always see your name the way this is set up for some reason. We only see some. But also say your name, but also tell us where you're from. We've had fans on the other side of the planet, from Japan, for God's sake, which is pretty amazing. We've had fans from Australia. We've been very blessed that way. Hashtag how lucky are we to have all these awesome fans all over the globe, A to the Z, just like our topics on the paranormal, A to the Z. But without further ado, Dale, I think at this point, we've waited long enough. The TPV Nation has waited long enough. Brandy from Blondes and Booze. Brandy, mwah, I love you. If it wasn't for the Blondes and Booze, Brandy and Krista, we wouldn't have Bigfoot Michigan Rob. We wouldn't have had great guests on like Shane Michael Crisp. We've been very blessed with the people we're getting to know in the community, the cryptid community, the paranormal community in general. Great, generous people like these lovely ladies. We get a guest like the great Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Let's bring him out right now.
There he is.
You guys are too kind. You know, the great, but hey, I'll take it, I guess.
So Rob, just want to say thank you so much for coming on, talking to the TPV Nation. We're so excited to have you here because, as everybody knows, Michael John is a cryptid fanatic, and we love all of our Bigfoot and Dogman stories. And better yet, you're our neighbor, so this is even better.
Yeah, you know, I did not know until maybe 11 minutes ago that you guys were from Windsor, which is like 30 minutes from me. All I have to do is hop on the Ambassador Bridge or to go under the tunnel. I don't know about that tunnel though, you guys. However, yeah, you know, that's where I started out my my career, 18 years young, as we talk backstage. So yeah, Windsor's where it's at for you young guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing those stories, though. Those are great. That's stuff, you know, that we can't even talk about on the blooper reel. So I appreciate that. That's how you bond, is stories like that. So thank you, BMR, for that. Sure.
Yeah.
Great to have you on. I mean, so much that we can talk about with you, that we're going to talk about with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on to the usual questions, if you will. I want to go first and foremost. You got a book coming out. Like, you're literally on the cusp.
Yeah.
You're going to fall over the edge of getting it done.
Yeah. Thanks. And really quickly, I do have to give a shout out to BMR Nation. I just made that up, by the way. Lily Pond, Shane Michael Chris, Brandy from the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, and of course the lovely Chris. And yeah, they turned me on to you guys. In fact, I think Michael John, I was on the show with the Booze. I think I was on that show with you. I think I do so many, but yeah. So, or I watched it. But anyways, thanks for that. But yeah, you know, thanks for bringing my book, man. I have a book that's going to be published on Monday, actually. It's called Bigfoot Michigan Rob Presents True Cryptid Encounters. And it's pretty much a lot of the subscribers for my channel, emails I've gotten from them and other random emails that I've kind of put together. And I came up with a book and published, and they all said I can free to use your stories. Of course, you know, some instances I had to change some things up just because be more descriptive, give more detail. But yeah, so I'm kind of excited. This coming out Monday. It was tentatively Monday because, you know, in the publishing business, it's my first gig. So I don't know how, but hopefully Monday that I'll be out. And yeah, so it's just a collaboration of stories from Bigfoot and Dogman, Mothman, some UFO encounters, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty proud of it. So yeah, hopefully that takes off. So it's my first go around with writing a book. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about it.
So Rob, where can these people start looking for your book?
It's going to be on Amazon. Again, I'll have to give you guys the link. It's going to be dropped on Amazon Monday. Again, it's going to be published through Amazon on Monday, and it'll be available in paperback, ebook, and it'll also be distributed at Barnes and Noble. So there's 3 nice outlets. So
absolutely. So yeah, congratulations on that. I mean, who does not love like books? I mean, I since I've been doing this, what we've done, I think my book collection has upgraded to like at least 75 books in the last year. So I've got a lot of reading ahead, and I will I will sure to be picking up your book for as well, so I can hang more with this guy to the left of me or to the right of me, either or.
Yeah.
Because when he starts talking Bigfoot and Dogman, it's like talking a foreign language to me. But I'm learning. You know what? Because of all these amazing guests, I've learned a lot. I know one thing. I'm glad Bigfoot and Dogman can't swim, so they can't come to Canada.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. I got to tell you though, this is a paranormal show, and and I can get into wherever you guys want to go is fine. But I never realized that I experienced the paranormal, and I experienced the paranormal probably at the age of 5 or 6. Now, again, did not realize that until I had a Bigfoot encounter of my own, right? And then when you go back and you look at your life, and now the more I'm involved with the paranormal and cryptids, ufology, all these things, you guys, they all come full circle, right? And I've come to that conclusion. I would have known that 5 years ago. But, when I had my first encounter with a Bigfoot was 5 years ago. Right. And then when I started doing the work and the research, things in my life it came across. And, I think I had my very first Bigfoot encounter and didn't realize it when I was 6 or 7 in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And it was simply this. I was in a cabin my mom and dad had rented, and we're in a bedroom, me and my brother, and there was a big bay window in our bedroom. And every night, me and my brother before bed, we just stay up and BS and like brothers do at night before they go to bed. And there was always the full moon was always illuminated the room. So we were still at the age where you needed a nightlight, but this moon was so bright every night you really didn't need it. And so one night, me and my brother were sitting there talking, and all of a sudden, that big bay window. Now, this bay window is probably 6 feet long, 4 feet high, or 4 feet high. So it's a nice size. And all of a sudden, I remember that the entire window was blacked out by this humanoid looking figure that had the shape of a person, but it darkened the whole room, darkened it.
Yikes.
And now you got to remember, I'm like 7 or 8. I think we're maybe a little, maybe 10 or 9. My first ghost encounter was 5 or 6. This was 9 or 10. So I was a little bit older, and me and my brother couldn't figure out. We're looking at this shape, but as quickly as it appeared in the window, it disappeared. So me and my brother got scared, and we ran and called for my dad because we thought maybe my dad was playing a joke because my dad was a prankster. And we woke him up. What are you guys talking about? Go back to bed. He had a nightmare. So here's the thing about this. We went there for 3 straight years, and we spent probably 5 days. We spent like a good 5 days each time. And you know what, you guys? Each and every night, this shadowy figure that casts darkness in the room would always cross. Now, as a kid, I didn't think anything of it. But today I realized that was probably my very first Bigfoot encounter. Now that I've walked through the process, right? So It started for me with all of these things as a young man, little boy.
Wow. And then when did you realize, I mean, how long you say as you got more into it, going down that rabbit hole, looking into it and finding out, when did you realize, God, this
if I kind of chronicleize my life, okay, that happened.
Yeah.
Now, prior to that, at 5 or 6, I would always see a ghost in my bedroom. Now, this is going to sound funny. On the back wall, we had for whatever reason, the bedroom was painted sky blue. Me and my brother had, beds in the room, and the far wall, I would always see a shadow. Now, I got to tell you something. This ghost it was not like a scary looking ghost. I always refer to it as the Scooby-Doo ghost. And frankly, it was like a person with a sheet over their head with two black eyes, and it would just float about on the back wall.
Right.
And so I would wake up my brother. Do you see this? He goes, no, I don't. What are you talking about? And I'm the older brother. I didn't want to yell ghost, even though I'm petrified. My brother's yet younger than me, so I just had the wherewithal not to say that. I mean, on the wall, on the blue wall, you see anything? No, Rob. But I seen this thing darting about, and this happened for a couple years. And again, I started wondering if that was a ghost, but then I would fall asleep thinking maybe I was dreaming or something. In the morning, I would ask my brother, hey, do you remember me waking you up? He goes, yeah, I didn't see nothing. You were probably, I don't know, man. Maybe it was just a dream. So now I'm going to fast forward this particular part of my life to when I'm 26, when I first got married. I move in with the wife. We're in the house. Now, I had not seen, after a couple of years, that ghost, that reoccurring ghost in my mind, it went away. So I'm married. In our bedroom, we're about 6 months into our new house. I wake up in the middle of the night and I look on the far wall, and you know what, you guys? I see that identical ghost dangling about on the back wall. The white sheet over the head with the black dark eyes. I wake up my wife. Her name was Rachel. I said, Rachel, look at that. Do you see that? She looks at me. What are you talking about? Look at the wall at the foot of the bed. Look, I see this. I see this. She looks at me like, what'd you wake me up for? You trying to, I need some of my sleep. Why are you playing games in the middle of the night? Well, look, that happened a couple times.
Yeah.
And, then eventually, again, I was married for 7 years. So that happened for maybe about a year. I periodically see this. Then that went away. So, and then I'd have other things happen in my house. Our house was haunted. We brought some artifacts that were haunted that I found out later were haunted. I could get in that a little later, but I'm trying to fast forward chronologically getting up to my Bigfoot encounter. So I had all these things, but I never was into researcher. There weren't podcasts then. It was like, I just thought that I was a strange dude. I mean, bottom line, or a vivid dream imagination. So when I had my Bigfoot encounter 5 years ago, in fact, it was the anniversary of my encounter was June 15th of 2018, June 15th, 2018. So yeah, 23, that's 5 years. So last month, I had this creepy ass encounter, scared the daylights out of me. And then after that encounter, I started researching Bigfoot, Dogman, the paranormal, ghosts, all this stuff. And now it kind of brings full spectrum all these things I've had throughout my life leading up into the encounter. And those are just two stories about ghosts. I've had things, I've witnessed things throughout my entire life. Then after I've seen the Bigfoot 5 years ago, it seems like everything's even more enhanced, right? So my mind is like open to all sorts of things. Yeah. And again, I know this is an hour show. We could do 5 hours of just, my first 20 years of living, So, but yeah, that's kind of, so yeah. So, and I met the girls from the Blondes and Booze, their podcast, and they taught me a lot of cool stuff that I didn't realize, and they kind of helped me with this stuff. So, yeah. So, man, it's just been a strange life I've led, really. I mean, not strange. To the average Joe on the street, they think you're a weirdo. But to me, it's part of who I am, right?
Yeah. I relate.
Yeah.
I think we relate to that.
No. Well, to us, it's normal. All these experiences that we have may be Bigfoot, aliens, things. Other people find it weird or strange, but to us, it probably happens to us so often that now it's just like normal life. I mean, as you, like my paranormal experiences started when I was a kid. Now I've been, I can't say I've had direct contact with aliens yet, but indirect because of the man beside me here. That's a whole different other story. But Bigfoot one, like I've never had any, but at the same time, it's still normal to us, and we don't think of it as strange anymore. So yeah, we totally understand. So with all these Bigfoot and ghost experiences, now what about an alien experience? Because usually Bigfoot and aliens usually go together somewhere in the story.
For me personally, I couldn't tell you if I seen an alien or had an alien experience. I could tell you my Bigfoot encounter story, which is kind of weird. It's not your typical Bigfoot story, if you like. Have you guys
Absolutely.
heard it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So 2018, June 15th, I at the time, my girlfriend Cindy, we went to I said, hey, look, I'm an outdoors type of guy. She wasn't. I said, look, if you want this, relationship to, work, you gotta at least do a couple things I dig doing. So I rented a cabin and a fishing boat. I said, we're going fishing at Cadillac, Michigan. She goes, what? I go, yeah, already did it. We're going. So kind of one of those, it's not a question of I'm going, it's like you are. So so we so we so we get out there, Lake Cadillac. Now Lake Cadillac's a very big lake. It's about 3.5 hours where I live, maybe 4 hours. And it's in it backs up to the Manistee National Forest. It's in the county is Wexford. Now Wexford is a key. The county of Wexford is a key in this, and the Manistee National Forest is also a key in this as well, just for everybody listening. So we get up there. I get the boat. I get the cabin or the cottage, whatever it was, and we go out fishing. We get out Lake Cadillac. Now, Lake Cadillac is very, as I mentioned, very expansive, big lake. It's built up around there. The city of Cadillac itself is a cool, quaint little town. In fact, I'm into collecting trinkets from hand-me-down stores or from what do you call them, antique dealers. I that's the thing. In fact, I got some haunted stuff back when I was younger. That again, not a different story. So, but a nice, cool town, cool little bars, restaurants, shops, and that. So we're out on a lake. A lot of houses built up around Lake Cadillac. So after about 45 or 50 minutes into this on Lake Cadillac, we're not even getting a nibble. The girlfriend's getting bored. I can tell. So I said, well, let's explore this lake. So we're driving around, checking out the houses. Then we come across this canal. And this canal leads to another big lake called Lake Mitchell. Now, Lake Mitchell's probably about the same size as Cadillac, but it's not as built up, and it directly backs up to the forest. There's no houses in the wood line, right? There's some other ones around, a couple small parks. So I'm like, oh, cool. There's nobody on the water. It's like the middle of June. Everyone's at work, I'm guessing. So we're drifting about 90 feet out from the shoreline. And I had a little trolling motor, so I set up cool. So we're kind of just bobbing. You guys get it, a mile an hour just down the shore.
Sure.
So I'm redoing all the tackle and the bait. And I said, Cindy, just hang on. Let me put together our fishing poles. So I go ahead and I put the lures and stuff on. So I'm looking down into the boat. Now, you guys, not a very big boat. It's like one of those skiffs. I mean, it's, I didn't get no big 27-foot boat. I got what was available. So not a very big boat. Good enough to tool around on. So Cindy says, hey, Rob, hey, you know what? I think someone's throwing rocks at our boat. I'm like, really? So I look up to the shoreline. Again, 90 feet from shore. I see nothing. In fact, the forest goes right up to the water's edge and drops. So there's not a lot of places, you're not going to hang out. There's no picnic area. Now, are there places where you could probably stand and throw a rock? Yes. But it's, if it's 6 feet by 6 feet, that's the amount of land. It was mostly wooded. So no, I don't think so, honey. I look out, see nothing. So I go back again. I go back looking down, taking care of our tackle, our bait, the fishing line. 20 seconds, Rob, and she's a little more adamant about it. Hey, someone's throwing rocks at the boat. I just see one hitting the front of us in the water. And I said, I look at her. I see nobody. I'm a little kind of, I would say irritated. Again, I dragged her out here, right? So I'm like, look, honey, hey, let me tell you something. Let me put this rod and reel together, and then I'll join you, and we can both look. Okay, fine, whatever, she says. So for whatever the reason, guys, I look up, and again, this day, it's a bright, beautiful day. It's about this time. It's maybe about 11:30 in the morning. Sun is high. The sky is blue. The woods are green. Pretty, the nature, right? And I see this object falling from the sky. I'm like, what the hell is this now? Lands about 4 feet in front of the boat, and it is a rock about the size of a baseball. So I'm like, wow. So I turned to Cindy to the right to kind of tell her, well, I apologize, And now Cindy, she's like 5'1", 110 pounds. She already had a great tan. She's like a sun worshiper back then, head to toe, sun, and she's asphyxiated at the shoreline. But I got to tell you guys something. Every ounce of color in her skin was white. It was drained from her body.
Right.
And I'm thinking, what is she looking at? And I stared ashore, and standing there again, we're 90 feet away.
Fuck.
There is about a 9-foot humanoid looking creature, reddish brown hair, standing there. Long reddish brown hair, gray face, or gray chest. Its arms were draped on its side, down past the knees a little bit. And again, I very distinctively can see this. I'm 90 feet away, not very far at all. And the face looked like a person had like Down syndrome. See, this thing looked like a human being. It had a face, a gray face, but it had offset eyes, a big mouth, and this kind of he looked kind of dumb, man. Like he had a male, that's the best way I could say it. I usually say Down syndrome, not to offend anybody, of course, but that's what you look like. But very creepy though.
Yeah.
People with Down syndrome are creepy looking people. They're just, unfortunately, they are what they are. But this looked not human, really. But again, I wouldn't shoot it because it looked too human if you were going to shoot it. If I had a gun, right?
A lot of people say that.
So I'm like, man, what the hell is this? So I'm like looking. And you guys, as I said, the arms are on its side. Then it lifts them parallel to the lake, right? And they're long. And he kind of rolls back, and now his head now his shoulders, man, they get up like his head like sinks beneath the back of his shoulders, right? In that grayish face, that, humanoid person, all of a sudden rolls back, and that gray skin got very taut and tight. The eyes roll back black. The jaw, now you can tell the jaw, it literally dropped like 6 to 8 inches down. And a gaping mouth where you could fit like a bowling ball in. It kind of reminded me of the mouth. Remember that game Pac-Man?
Yep.
Very big. And it exposed 4 teeth that I've seen. 2 like dog-like teeth. I always say like a German Shepherd, but oversized, right? And long. And on the bottom were 2 like incisors that came up. But the face turned back. And that face turned from a humanoid Down syndrome looking person into what I always describe to as a demon. Looked like a freaking demon. Now, with that mouth drop, not moving the lips, hell, it had no lips. It was just an gaping hole.
Yeah.
It roars, and it roars a scream, a yell, and a guttural growl at us from across the lake 90 feet away. And I can feel the vibration of this roar hit me.
Wow.
Right? And it doesn't move its mouth. It's just emanating right out of the mouth. My girlfriend, as I mentioned, 5'1", 5'2", 110 pounds. She falls off the boat.
Oh my God.
Again, not a very big boat, as I said. It was probably 8, 9 inches out of water. Shouldn't have been standing, to be honest. Okay.
No.
Falls in the water. And I'm looking at this thing now. I hear a little scream from her. I hear the splash. Now I go to turn to my right to get her into the boat. Dudes, I'm frozen and paralyzed. I can't move. I'm frozen. And listen to this, how I explained how the sky was blue, the sun was the sun color orange, and the green forest. I'm now looking through a filter. It seems like time stood still, and now everything is gray and white, black and white. It's like I'm looking through a filter. All the colors totally sucked out of the forest and the water, and even this creature was now black and white looking. And and I'm just trying to shake my head. I'm shaking my head. I shut my eyes, shaking my head, shaking my head. I snap out of it. All of a sudden, I regain vision correctly, see all the colors. I go over there. I get Cindy. I get her, pick her up out of the water, get in the boat. Scares when this. I'm scared. I'm scared right now, but I'm really scared because I look to the shoreline. This thing's now gone. Now, hey, Dale, you mentioned about swimming. Hell, I don't know what this is. Is it swimming? Is it after us? Where is it? I freak out. Then again, I'm still terrified anyways. Turn that little skiff around, that little boat around, sped across Lake Mitchell, got to that canal, sped across Lake Mitchell, open throttle, creating wakes where I shouldn't have been. You know, people are flipping me off, I'm sure. So, you know, and I get to the place right to dock my boat. I get, you know, I dock it. I look at her, I think that's some towel, probably a beach towel wrapped her in it. She's like freezing. It's like 83 degrees. And by this time, it's like noon. I get her out of the boat. We don't say nothing. I just, you know, try to warm her up. And I look for an immediate bar or a restaurant, someplace to go sit down. Find this bar about a half a block up. We go in. Again, like 12:30, middle of the week, not a lot of people in there, thank God. Walk in the front, turn to my left, and back in the left, there's a corner booth, no unoccupied, nobody around. We beeline it over there. We both sit down across from each other. Barmaid comes up. Hey, how you doing? What would you like to drink? And now Cindy at the time, not a drinker, never seen her drink a drop of alcohol in my life. She goes, I'll have a bottle of Bud Light and a shot of Jack Daniels. And I'm like, well, she's messed up. I said, I'll have the same, but make mine a double. So,
right.
So we don't say nothing. We wait for the drinks to arrive. She takes that shot. Cindy does. She slams it like she's been a 20-year pounder. Not even a wince. Finishes half the bottle. I kind of do the same. So now we look at each other and she says, Rob, what do you think that was? And I say, honey, I don't know. What do you think it was? Right. She says, now we never talk about any cryptids or Bigfoot or nothing in our lives together. She goes, maybe I think it was that Bigfoot creature. And I'm thinking, I say to myself, you know what? I think maybe it was. But I still had my doubts because I'm just in my mind. I remember watching Leonard Nimoy In Search of and Patterson Gimlin. This thing that I saw did not look like Bigfoot. So that's why I say I had a Bigfoot encounter. Till this day, dudes, 5 years later, I still looking for questions, right? Because I'm not 100% sure yet. But it was something. Yeah. So, yeah, then she says, hey, should we call a DNR, the police, report this? I says, no, we ain't doing that. What do you tell them? Now we're leaving a bar. We live 4 hours away. They fear we got loaded in the bar. We're making up stories. I'm not doing that. She goes, yeah, you're probably right. And that's how most people are. In fact, that's the reason I set up my YouTube channels to help people because I had nowhere to go, right? So we got home. We were immersed in research. Now we're looking up on YouTube. We're looking up all these things. Typing in Bigfoot, typing in devils, demons, whatever.
Yeah.
None of the pictures really matched what I saw, what she saw. So we were immersed in that. So this encounter happened June 15, 2018. And where I really got deep and dark and really in a bad state was on August 15th of 2018, my girlfriend Cindy passed away. And now when that happened, guys, I was like thinking that this creature or whatever the hell it was had something to do with it. Because I'm thinking we got shot when he hit us with that roar and how I felt it in my body, that energy hit my body. Certainly it hit her. She flew the boat. I'm thinking that maybe her insides got messed up and that's what happened. So I can't find answers because her mom hated me. See, I owned a bar. Her mom was very anti-drinking. That's why Cindy never really drinks. So one of those people, hey, whatever floats your boat. I don't judge people, but hated me because I was the devil because I owned a bar, and she never liked me to begin with. So she didn't tell me. She said she had a heart attack. Calls me. Cindy had a heart attack. She passed. I'm like, well, I wasn't allowed at the funeral, dudes. So yeah, it was very terrible. Now I'm thinking though that this encounter has something to do with it. At the time, you got to remember, back in 2018, I thought that this was why. Okay. She don't drink, she don't smoke. Good health. Worked out. I mean, why she dead?
Yeah.
So I went to my bar manager. I say, hey, man, I don't know, but you just do me a favor. Take the money, put it in the bank. Don't rip me off. I don't know when I'm coming back to work. And I said, don't. And I trusted the guy.
Yeah.
And I said, I can monitor the stuff. And I didn't have to tell him that. But, hey, I didn't go back to work for 6 months. I checked the bank account once a week. Other than that, I did not go back to work. I immersed myself in the subject. And then I got I was literally a loner, man, doing nothing. Because I was depressed. I didn't know what I saw, and I couldn't find answers. I reached out to people, and I thought they were full of shit, and I couldn't put two and two together. Then I finally came across some people. One guy's name is Duke Sullivan, World Bigfoot Radio, who helped me through my problem. Told me, you're not going crazy. You saw something. Probably was a Bigfoot, but man, one hell of an encounter. And so that's what started the Bigfoot Michigan Rob channel. Initially, it was just to help people like me that had nowhere to go, right? So I didn't want to be that guy because I was lonely. I couldn't tell my parents, my friends. I told my buddy, he thought I was full of crap, laughing. My brother kind of believed me, but I could tell he was skeptical. But now he's firmly on board with me today. But back then, they just thought, hey, Rob, you're a good storyteller anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, and I'm making up my chick died. So today I don't believe that Bigfoot or whatever it was had anything to do with that. I think your time, I believe now there was a reason for everything, right? I don't think that thing killed her. I don't read any Bigfoot stories where they've killed you from yelling at you.
Right.
And again, it sucks for me because I can't get access to the records, but that'll always forever be a mystery. So that'll be one part of my life that I'll never have solved. But the part about the Bigfoot or this other thing is what I do every day now. And that's why the show evolved, to help people. Now it's turned into something more than that. We do live shows but I learn every day from people's stories. So I produce encounter stories for people that send in their via email that are subscribers or emails, and I read those every Friday for everybody, just because when I remember going on the Sasquatch Chronicles with Wes Shermer for the very first time, I spoke on it. And we had to edit about 30 minutes of it because guys, I'm not ashamed to say this. I was crying. It was a 1 hour interview. I cried for 40 minutes. It took us 3.5 hours to do 1 hour, but he was so cool. He understood because he knew, Rob, dude, it's what I do for a living. I hear these stories. So I said, you know what? That's what I want to do now. I want to do this for other people. That's really how the show started, and it's evolved into something pretty cool, and I enjoy it. And again, I don't think Bigfoot's a murderer, for anybody out there listening.
Right.
Do I think it's the devil or the demon or the Nephilim no? But then again, what do I know? This is one of these subjects where you just don't know. And that's why I love it. Probably Michael, why you like it. And Dale, you're getting into it. Cryptids, when you think you know something, you don't know anything.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Touching doing shows like this is why Michael, John, and myself, we love doing these shows. We like making those connections. Your story today, people watching this show today, live right now, this very second, or the people that are going to be watching it tomorrow and down the road, your story is going to help somebody to understand something that might have happened to them. So we really appreciate your stories as well as everybody else's stories. And we love the stories because you know what? This is who we are. This is what makes BMR who BMR is today. And you know what? It is the cryptid world, the paranormal world, the UFO world. We'll never know all the answers. Why? Because for one, they don't want us to know all the answers. But you know what? For what little we do know and the knowledge that we have, we love sharing it out there. So thank you to your story. You know what? Sorry that you lost a really good partner in life because she sounded like a really great person. But you know what? Life happens, and now look what you're doing today. You're helping probably thousands of people.
Well, you know,
with your stories and what you're and just everything you're doing.
I got to tell you something because I like coming on shows where I don't know the show or whatever, or startup shows or even big shows. Because, you know, about a year ago, I said to my audience, this is the last time that I'm going to be talking about my encounter.
Okay.
Because, you know, I've said it 1,000 times. And you know, I don't get any backlash. You know, I get pretty much positive comments on my shows or anything. You know, 95% are all good. You get, you know, some trolls. We all get that stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you know how many people were outraged and said, what are you talking about? I've heard your story 50 times and I want to hear it again because you know why? It helps me with what I went through. So when I got, and many comments came through like that. So when I thought that people were bored of the story, maybe they're not, because let's face it, this is a big planet we live on. And who am I to, just because 1,000 people heard it? Well, there's 1 billion people that haven't.
Exactly.
And how the percentage of those people that had encounters, well, again, whatever that slice of the pie is, I don't know.
Mm.
Right.
So now I don't feel bad repeating myself or the story because I think it does have purpose.
Absolutely, it does. And like I said, and that's what it's all about. It is helping other people understand very similar situations. It would be very interesting. Now, did you ever find or come close to finding the Bigfoot that you saw that day, like in pictures that other people have encountered?
Well, I gotta tell you something. I'll be doing a show. Okay, they're a friend of mine, great friend of mine. I met at the which conference was it? Texas. I was in Texas last summer. Sibylla Irwin.
Okay.
She's been on my show, and she is a fantastic artist. I mean, she does renditions of Bigfoot that are fabulous. In fact, the pictures are lifelike. She was on a show, and she had like 4 pictures, and she told the story behind every encounter from the person. So we are in the process right now of putting together the humanoid looking Down syndrome, and then we're going to do the demon looking one. And right now, the first one is almost done. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to do a show on that. And this thing that she has rendered for me is 90% spot on. Because to answer your question, never seen anything on. That's the first thing that I've seen that looks like it. Not seen it on YouTube, not pictures, not on the internet. Yeah. Nothing even comes close. And even the demon transformation, something similar, but not quite. So the first one, you guys, it's coming. Oh yeah, I can't wait to show everybody. It's fantastic. Yeah, no. So yes, those pictures are going to be available probably in a month.
So now,
all right, Brandy.
Your story, where you're talking. Okay, so rocks were being thrown at you, and you looked up and you saw something in the sky. Yeah. Now, we've discussed this on other shows with other cryptid people. That's a great question. I love talking about it. The connection with orbs, the connection with UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman. Is that all relative? I mean, what do you think of that? I mean, you saw a little bit of all that day.
I think it's well, that day, yeah. You know, that day I seen that day I saw a flesh and blood creature from the onset, right?
Yes.
Looked like a human being.
Yes.
But to metamorphosize into a demon, but it wasn't translucent. It still had shape. It still was physical. But here's the thing, though. How did it do that? Now, I've done some research. I've looked at the study of baboons.
Okay.
Now, if you see a baboon in Africa or the forest, you know what they look like. But now when they're ticked off or mad, they do that with their face too. Their skin rolls tight back, exposes teeth, and they don't look like their original self. They look 100% different. So what I'm thinking, maybe this was Bigfoot, and maybe that was showing aggression, and that was his get the hell out of your face. Because I talked to a lot of people,
Yep.
and they said I could have been in an area where maybe children were playing, and they wanted to scare me out.
Yeah.
They told me that maybe it was a disbanded Bigfoot or a rogue Bigfoot. Because something about Bigfoot, they're socialized, and they're like a family unit, right? And they've got the husband, the wife, they got kids, and they have like soldiers. If one of those Bigfoot get kicked out of their group, they exile them. They don't want no part of them for whatever their reason. Maybe they're a bad seed. I don't know. So when they get kicked out, they become a rogue, and they become the aggressive, ticked off ones. That because you hear so many stories about Bigfoot don't really hurt people. I mean, my first encounter, unfortunately, I'm not going to call him the friendly forest giant, and a lot of people are going to give me slack for that. But it's because of my first encounter, though. Many more encounters, they're more docile. They just want to be left alone. I mean, my 100% opinion, Bigfoot don't want nothing to do with us. They don't want to hurt us. Will they hurt us if we hurt their family? Yeah, I think they'll kill you. But they don't aggressively seek us out.
Right.
That's what I thought, 5 years ago. So, yeah, I think there could have been something like that. And, hey, just like human beings, man, there's good human beings, there's bad human beings. There's good animals, there's good dogs, bad dogs. My brother had to put down a dog because, unfortunately, it just wasn't right. It attacked his wife, for God's sakes, when she was pregnant. Hey, boom, out of here.
Yeah.
The dog that they got, they replace it. Beautiful, kind, and loving. So everybody, human beings, cryptids, animals, wildlife, we're all good, we're all bad. It just depends who you fall upon, right?
Absolutely. And I remember a little while ago, I was watching one of your live podcasts, and you were talking about, I believe it was a friend of yours, and something attacked his chickens.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't a friend. It was probably a subscriber or an emailer. There was, it's one of the stories, probably in the book too, probably. I'm going to reflect back. Okay, I can't give the exact.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them like that. But yes, there was a guy had bought a house, and he inherited a farm, and there was a chicken coop. So, he decided to raise chickens. Now, he found it strange that when he went out investigating his yard, he's seen some oversized wolf-like prints, tracks in his yard around the chicken coop. Now, the strange thing about this story, I believe this was in Indiana, and there's no wolves in Indiana. Yet these look like oversized wolf tracks, okay? And I think a measurement was like 8 inches long, 5 inches wide, which is like crazy, with 3 like talons. So he thought that was odd. Didn't know what it was. And this man was not a hunter. He had no idea what the wilderness or the woods was all about. So he just kind of kept it to himself. About a couple of weeks goes by. Now he gets these chickens. The chicken coop is now, he's raising chickens. One night, he hears a bunch of ruckus going on. In fact, in this story too, he had a stable and there was a couple horses, and the horses were getting all riled up. And then he went outside to see what was going on with the horses, but they were fine. But the chicken coop was amok. Okay, so now the guy goes to his chicken coop, and it was inside of, like, I guess, a small barn. He goes in. So all the chickens were all dead. They are all decapitated. And there's blood, chicken blood all around, and they're all ripped to shreds.
Oh,
And he said that it was really strange because then he was thinking, man, do I really have a wolf problem? Or even a lynx or any type of cat, bobcat.
yeah.
But he said what he thought was odd is that none of the chickens were even eaten. They were just like, as he told me, murdered.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't hunting, it wasn't for food. It was looked like for sheer enjoyment. And they were all half of them heads were gone or they were slashed open. So he leaves his chicken coop here and he goes back out around, investigates, and he sees those same prints again, fresh prints that he's seen a couple weeks earlier around the barn slash chicken coop. And also he followed a track that led to his horse stables. So I remember now in this story, he asked me, Rob, what do you think that was? I said, well, I asked him for a photograph or whatever, and he said he didn't think to take one. Again, who thinks to do that? I said, well, I mean, not to scare you. I mean, if there's no wolves in Indiana, at least that section, not that part of town that I know of. And I told him, dog man. I mean, it sounds to me like a dog man, right? I mean, he's asking me, a cryptid guy, my opinion, and that's my opinion. Not saying it was you guys, but you
Right.
think an 8-inch long print, 5 inches wide with 3 talons, extended fingers with talons coming out, prints.
Right.
And people don't make this stuff up because all the stories that I put out they're anonymous. They're not making any money.
Yes.
So what do? And I tell everybody, I might do the recording, I might not. So they don't know. So that's why I tend to believe. That's why I love the show so much because people are open and tell you these things because they're scared to tell somebody else. And I've got a whole lot of stories like that.
Sure.
That with state parks, Indiana state parks, some here in Michigan. Wexford, Michigan is the capital in Michigan of Dogman. Many Dogman encounters. Oh, and the thing about Wexford, Michigan, that's where my Bigfoot encounter was in Wexford, which is also known for sightings of Bigfoot. So all these things correlate. And so all the data you collect for all these shows and everything we do,
Yeah.
1,000 people are saying the same things, you guys.
Yeah.
So just like in the paranormal, you just probably have it's probably similar, same investigations you do or don't do. They all just add it all just adds up. And back to your original question, I think all these things are on the same. I think they are all related in some form. Like you said about Bigfoot and orbs.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you see a UFO, Bigfoot was spotted, up the road. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in coincidences. This stuff happens for a reason.
Yeah. One theory I have on that, even there's cases where you see a UFO, then all of a sudden their dogmen start appearing. My theory, that's my safe word because none of us are experts here. We all have theories
Right.
at the end of the day. Why couldn't, just for shits and giggles, let's entertain the fact Bigfoot's showing up because he's researching and going after the UFO people?
Dogman?
Or Dogman. Either or.
Oh.
If a UFO is spotted in an area, then aliens are spotted. Why? And then all of a sudden, Dogman or Bigfoot show up. Why can't they be for some reason on planet Earth? They're here on Earth looking for these aliens.
No, I agree with that. I mean,
just a thought, right?
No, well, as far as agreeing, I agree with that train of thinking because again, anything that you say about these things is not right or wrong.
Right.
See, the more theories, the more I love sitting around with a group of people. I could do a round table discussion for 3 hours with like you guys, the Blondes, the Boos, any of my buddies, and we might come out with ridiculous theories, but you know what? What is ridiculous?
Right.
Like what is actual proof? Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, this was a conversation that we had at the UFO Contact Convention. We're going to pose this because I would love your theory on this. If Dogman and Bigfoot were in a fight, who would win?
I'm going to go with Bigfoot.
And why?
Well, if you figure they're 1,200, I tell you what, it'd be a hell of a fight. I just go back to those wrestling days. If you got a 1,200, if he's 9 foot tall, 1,200 pounds, and full of muscle, it's going to take a lot of talents. You got to hit him in the right artery because all he has got to do is grab that dog man, 6, 7 foot dog man, snap his neck. I tell you what, though, Bigfoot would probably be wounded. I would, if I was a betting man, not saying that I am or I are not, I would put my money on Bigfoot, I think.
Okay.
I just think I think the mass. I think, and you got to remember, I've heard stories about people shooting at allegedly shooting at an alleged Bigfoot. Boom, pounds him right in the chest. He ain't going down. It didn't even pierce his skin. You got to remember too. Again, I've never seen one. I've never seen a dead one. But you got to think something that big. They got to have a chest that's got to be 6 inches thick.
Yeah.
You know, a 22 is not going to do anything, right?
No. Bounce off, basically. Yeah.
You know, so I tell you what, though, I'd rather come. Well, if I was in the woods alone, or get rid of my story, I'd rather see a Bigfoot face to face in the woods than a dog man, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Your chances are a lot better with a Bigfoot as opposed to a dog man in probably 99.9% of the cases, from what I've heard and what I've read and what I've, just my research and my learning. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. I'd rather encounter a Bigfoot, as bad as I want to see some sort of a plausible proof that dog man exists, maybe even being able to see one at some point and live to tell about it. Yeah, but I agree. Yeah. Bigfoot,
I tell you what is, I'd love to see a dog man, though. I mean, I would, because, you know, I know that Bigfoot exists now because I've seen one. You know, they say that you believe. Well, I know they exist because I'm going back, you know, as I've gone through the 5 years, I did see a Bigfoot. I'm going with the theory that it was, and he metamorphosized as explained about the baboon thing. So that probably was a Bigfoot. The Bigfoot are known to be in that area. But however, it also, you have to look at this too. You guys are in the paranormal. How do we know that if we see a Bigfoot in the forest, it's actually a Bigfoot? What if it's just some paranormal entity that's manifesting itself and putting it into your mind because they know that you're looking for it, right?
I love that. Yes.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Awesome.
You know, yeah, no, I mean, the endless possibilities of what anything really is, because when you talk about the paranormal, we're talking about spiritual energy. We're all filled with energy. When we die, our energy stays. It's just the shells of our body that goes away.
Yeah.
Bigfoot's, like you said, nobody's ever seen a dead Bigfoot. Nobody's ever seen a dead alien, for this matter. We've seen pictures that people want to make you believe that they've captured and killed these creatures.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's really true because, I mean, you just don't see it. You would never see them in the woods. And it's one of those lifelong mysteries. We've all seen a ghost. Every one of us here.
Yeah.
The people that are watching, they've all seen a ghost, but nobody's ever seen a dead alien or a Bigfoot.
Nope, never. Now, if you subscribe to Area 51, our government has seen them, right? And that's another thing I'd like to know about, if that's true or not. Or I'm leaning toward they probably have. I'm thinking that's more. I'm 70-30 that happened. Because I've kind of looked, because, you know, it's funny, you know, I started with this Bigfoot studying and stuff like that, cryptids, but it's so funny, you guys, when you start, talking about Bigfoot, for whatever reason, it takes you down the rabbit hole of the paranormal, the alien, the UFO. It's so, again, when I say it's connected, how come every time I look up a story on Bigfoot, there is alien involvement or UFO?
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not all the time, of course, but it happens frequently, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. And like even more in the paranormal field because of our good friends, Deb and RJ DeRoos. I mean, talking with them, they're like, so all these EVPs that you've been capturing all these years, you sure they're ghosts or spiritual energy? What if it's an alien popping in and communicating with you? And I'm like, now I have to go back. So it's it's a big, huge thing.
It is really quickly. People that I know and people I've spoken with and stories I've gotten. The thing that is always I wonder about. Thanks, Lily. How do you know, like, I don't know. I mean, okay, these people that say that they can mind speak with like Sasquatch or
Heard
Bigfoot,
that. Yeah.
and I believe that does go on. I believe that people do communicate with things. My question is this: how do you know this not something nefarious? How do you know it's not a demon trying to get you
Something. Yeah.
or
Scary.
Absolutely.
something? I mean, I don't know. I see. That's another thing. Now it's a whole different tangent, right? If you're just talking about Bigfoot, like what I've seen is one thing, but now you're talking about hearing voices in your head, telepathy.
Yeah.
Man, was that coming from an alien or Bigfoot? Now, of course, if you go back to the First Nations people,
Yeah.
Bigfoot or Sasquatch is spiritual and they do
Yeah.
communicate with them.
Right.
And I'm not going to say they're lying, right?
Right.
No.
No, because I mean, yeah, as we all know, the native people are more spiritual and more connected
Yeah.
with earth animals and the earth than most of us ever will be.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
I just want to get your thought because uh, now I'm in stuff that I've read, stuff that I've seen. I'm a big, huge fan of the show Expedition Bigfoot. Now, in the very first episode, the one of the characters, I can't remember who he was, but he was taken off the show because they believe that the Bigfoot telepathically like can do damage to you telepathically without physically touching you. Now, what is your thoughts on a Bigfoot being able to be that powerful?
I do believe that people have communications with Bigfoot. I will say that. Now, then again, I will also be the same guy. It's not everybody. I have a friend who I know for a fact has spoken telepathically with Bigfoot. I do know that because she's told me stuff that only I would know, and I don't know how this person knew it. So I do believe that does happen. Now, do they have okay? So now, if you go back to my story of 5 years ago, I thought that what that happened to us killed her.
Right.
I don't. We're basically talking about infrasound, is what they're saying. So infrasound, you know, elephants have it. Great white, orca, tigers, lions, and what infrasound basically is, it dulls your senses, and when they're stalking their prey, it throws you like kind of what happened to me. I was
Right.
paralyzed, and I
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
so I think I think that's just something to stun prey. I I can't say that my personal. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Do I think that it can harm you? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. Unless you get hit with radiation, I you know I will say no. I don't
Okay.
think it can harm you. Now but I have heard stories of a couple people getting hit with the infrasound from a Bigfoot, and they've got nauseated, they've thrown up, they've gotten dizzy, fallen off our horse. I've heard lots of stories like that. So I think that's probably the worst case scenario. But I've never come across anybody. Again, I've never come across anybody being killed by a Bigfoot, right? Or alleged. Or if there's stories out there, they're far and few and in between. I've heard more about Dogman. You know,
Yeah.
and all the accounts I got on Dogman are all spooky and scary and demonic in my estimation. I think that's a whole another animal.
Yeah. Literally a whole other being for sure.
Yeah.
Now, for our fans out there, Rob, they're seeing you for the first time. They love Bigfoot, intrigued by it, intrigued by Dogman, or maybe they've never really gone down that rabbit hole or heard stories about it, etc. They're just hearing about these creatures for the first time tonight. They want to know more about them, more about you. How can they find you? Where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's my YouTube channel is Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Just type it in YouTube and hit enter and hit subscribe. And my show is more than just, my show. I do 2 live shows on Tuesdays. Tuesday night is Beyond BMR at 9 o'clock in the East, live show. And I have guests on, researchers, and people have had encounters. And then on Thursday at 1 o'clock in the East. So I have a night show is Tuesday. The day show is Thursday. Big brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob. And I, again, have researchers on. Now, about Bigfoot. Now, here's the thing about my show really quickly. And I do encounter stories once a week. So I got like 3 things I got going on. But I will say this. My show has evolved into not just Bigfoot, because I talk UFO, I talk paranormal, ghosts, mysteries. So, yeah, it's Bigfoot, definitely Bigfoot Dogman, but I'm branching out because, as I said, this stuff to me is all the same. So now, yeah, I'm more interested in the paranormal. Brandy and Krista, prime example, friends of mine now. I pick their brain all the time about the paranormal, and they pick mine about cryptids, and they're learning cryptids while I'm learning the paranormal. And we're finding out, you guys, the parallels are the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different, yes, but a lot of commonalities. So my show is everything. Yeah, certainly cryptids is, you're always to find a cryptid. We always talk cryptids, but we do it's a variety of high strangeness is the best way to sum it up.
Absolutely. No,
And,
it's
because I'm on Facebook and all that. But yeah, go to the E2 Michigan Rob show, and I got all my links to Twitter, YouTube, and all that.
yeah. Actually, in the description link below, you can find the link right to your YouTube channel. So people just want to click on that, hit subscribe. Make sure you watch this guy. I love watching your show. I find out so much great information. You've got great stories. I like it that you actually take letters that people are sending to you and talk about it on the air, which is, great. Their stories getting out there, and they probably feel good that they're able to share it and not feel so bad or feel like a weirdo.
Yeah, well, this, what you just said, I'll get a comment. Hey, Rob, thank you so much for doing that. Because I'll ask them, do you want to come on the show and make a live show? No, anonymous. I get it. I get it. Right. So you can read it. You can do a video, and then I'll get a response. Thank you so much. I feel so much better because you need an outlet. Because I kept it bottled in for like 6 months, you guys, before I told somebody.
Absolutely, and that's a story. Like I said, I've heard it here for the first time today, and I would love to hear that story again and again because, like I said, it's a very unique and inspiring all in the same time. Because what you went through, I mean, how many other people probably would have just dived into a bottle of alcohol and just not wanted to deal with the rest of their life?
I owned a bar, dude, for 13 years. I didn't go to work for 6 months. Very easily I could have sat me. You're gonna have to have me back on and talk about my ghost encounters at my bar because my bar is haunted.
Awesome.
Oh, well, I could see us having you back on at least a dozen more times because your stories, your encounters, and we want to talk. We want to see the reaction of your fans when this book comes out because we really I look forward to reading it. We're going to have you back several more times. You have not seen the last of us. We're going to definitely have you.
I'll have to have you guys on my show too.
Love to be on. Love to be
absolutely.
On. Yeah. Fans in general. I mean, where will our fans and your fans, of course, where are they going to find you in the coming months? Are you going to be at any of the conventions? And where?
Now, I'm taking this year off because I'm going to gear up for next year. A couple that I wanted to go to, they just didn't line up well because I got family stuff going on. But yeah, I usually attend 2 or 3 conferences a year, Bigfoot conferences. And in fact, I do want to hit a UFO one and a paranormal one. In fact, next year, I was supposed to go to that one with the girls in Michigan. It was in Ann Arbor, Paws and Dogs or
Photographs.
Yes.
Photographs.
I missed that one. I was supposed to go meet Brandy and Krista down there. But I I forget why something. Oh, no power. Duh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would do it.
Yeah, they'll do
You
it.
know, it's a good one. A good one to go to, Rob. Yeah, it's coming up in October. Is that deal? Or is it September that they have the UFO contact convention in Houghton Lake?
September in Holton Lake. Yep.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
gonna
I'll
be
have to
up
look
there.
that
We're
up.
doing our thing. We'll be doing
Oh,
our
I
thing.
have to look that up. Yeah, I have to.
Yeah,
look that
please.
one up.
We
Holton
cut our
Lake.
teeth there.
It's like 4 hours from here. 3.5.
We cut
Yeah,
our teeth
something like
there
that.
last year.
Okay, good.
In
Yeah.
the UFO community, we met the great Andrea Perrin. She does, and there's a panel. There's Reverend Michael Carter from Ancient Aliens there. Bill Konkoleski, everybody from the vodcast, the Voices of Contact. They're on there. Mary Bassett, Deb, and RJ DeRoos. They're the curators of the UFO Contact Convention. But it's a couple nights, couple days. It's a blast, man. They have a point during the convention where we're all in the conference room, and you get a chance to raise your hand and share your UFO encounters. Even if you're not sure, you think you did, but you're not sure. People get up and they brave. I got up. I found out I was an experiencer. I had no idea. It was an amazing thing, but not going sort of go off track there. We'd love to see you there. Is my point.
I'd be cool. Yeah. As far as that goes, I'm next year for sure. But yeah, that's something though. The fall, I love going. Bottom line is, I love going to them. I went to a bunch last year, so and it helps you out. You help get your name out there. And the thing about I love about the conferences, real quick before we go, is I went to like the 2 or 3 last year. I met a lot of the people that watch my channel, right?
Sure.
And it's like that's so cool to put the face behind somebody in chat, right? And a lot of people go. And it's really cool. And meet, of course, a lot of the great speakers, and it's just a lot of fun. Hang out with friends, and you meet new friends.
It's a real gift to meet fans for sure, man. And they tell you how you've impacted their lives. It's like I said, it's a gift, man. It is a real gift. I do want to say thank you so much to the ever elusive Bigfoot Michigan Rob.
Yeah, finally got me tracked down. I stopped cloaking. You broke my cloak down.
It's a pleasure to have you on. I mean,
I love that. Had a great time.
Hashtag under the learning tree. Blessed, thankful, and grateful. That's what we are here. Thank you to the TPV Nation, of course, for tuning in. We saw the Blondes and Booze. We saw Shane, Michael, Chris. They're making appearances in the chat box saying hello. You brought your army with you, brother. I love it.
Lily Pond was here, and Danny Staten, 2 good friends. So, a few others. You guys, So, next show, though, give me the link a couple days early because I can get out to like 1,000 people.
Okay.
Yep. No problem. We'll get it. We'll get it to you a lot sooner. I got a little late creating the show this week because I was behind doing everything else.
I hear you. Hey, man, you know what? I hear you.
So, no, we thank you once again for coming on. Great to talk to you. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I know you got some big plans coming up. We look forward to your book. We look forward to hopefully running into you at a convention somewhere, the UFO convention, or even at the Maya Paracon, wherever you're going to be. We would love to sit down and talk with some more, share some drinks together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was talking to a couple old timers, and he said, if you stick with this, and I've been doing this 2 years, but and I plan on doing this for a long time, you eventually run into everybody, man, because eventually you got to hit that circuit. And I love people and meeting people, so that's what we do, right? So
absolutely. So thank you once again, Michael John. Take us out of here, sir.
All right, again, thank you so much to Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Thank you so much to the TPV Nation for tuning in, liking, supporting, sharing, subscribing. And it's without great guests like Rob, and I say this, we are blessed to say this every time. We've had guests that hit it out of the park. Today was no exception. And because of that, because of Bigfoot Michigan Rob and guests like Bigfoot Michigan Rob, we get to do what we get to do. And that is this right here, right now. We are Windsor, Ontario's own, the paranormal voice, Michael John, Dale Quigley. We will see you all on the other side. But in the meantime, and in between time, folks, we say at the count of 3, Dale, 1, 2, 3, we say
happy huntings.